On the surface, the world around us appears simple. A place of routine, a place of learning, a place of young dreams and aspirations. But what happens when the very walls of a place meant for growth hide the darkest of secrets? When beneath the pages of textbooks, behind the friendly smiles, something sinister lies hidden. Sarah Mitchell, a sophomore at Bellwood University, never imagined that the secrets she had been keeping for months would come crashing into the light. It all started with a simple message, a private text from an anonymous number. What began as a curiosity, a random conversation, quickly unraveled into something she couldn't ignore. The message was cryptic, unsettling, but most of all, it was the first piece of the puzzle. A puzzle that would soon reveal a truth so shocking that Sarah would never be able to look at her life the same way again. The sender of the message had said they had proof, evidence that would tear apart the life she had built at Bellwood. At first, Sarah thought it was a prank. A sick joke from one of her peers, a student trying to get a rise out of her. But deep down, she knew this wasn't the case. She knew the sender wasn't playing games. Jay Lee. That name. It hit Sarah like a ton of bricks. Jay was one of the most popular students on campus. A man everyone respected, a student leader, charming, friendly, and seemingly harmless. No one would have suspected him of anything. Least of all, Sarah. But what Sarah didn't know was that Jay Lee had secrets of his own, dark secrets, buried beneath his perfect exterior. Secrets that only Sarah, of all people, knew about. It was supposed to be a harmless affair, a fleeting thing, a hidden connection between the two of them. But nothing about it had stayed harmless. The message that would change everything came shortly after. I want the truth, Sarah. Everything I know will come to light if you don't meet me. Tonight, in the library basement. Midnight. Torn between fear and guilt, Sarah debated whether to go. She knew she had to face what she had done, what they had done. But what Jay was threatening, the evidence he claimed to have, was too dangerous to ignore. She had to meet him. She had no choice. At midnight, Sarah stood in front of the library, heart pounding in her chest. The cold air stung her face, but it was nothing compared to the chill that ran through her when she saw Jay standing in the shadows. His eyes were cold, empty, as he stared at her. You thought you could hide this forever, Sarah, Jay said, his voice barely a whisper, but the venom in it was clear. You thought I wouldn't do anything, that I would just forget what we did. But you were wrong. You never understood who you were dealing with. What had started as an innocent fling, something that seemed so trivial at the time, had grown into a web of lies, manipulation, and danger. Sarah had been falling for Jay, her emotions tangled with guilt, fear, and longing. She didn't want anyone to know, especially not her friends, her family. And certainly not her boyfriend, who she had been seeing before everything spiraled. But Mark had started to notice the strange behavior. He'd seen the way Sarah and Jay interacted. He had felt the tension in the air, the unspoken truth hanging between them. Mark wasn't blind to what was happening. I have everything, Sarah, Jay said, his smile cold, predatory. Your little secret is about to come out. You've never been good at keeping things quiet, have you? But Jay wasn't interested in apologies. He had already made up his mind. He wasn't just looking for revenge, he wasn't just after some petty blackmail. He had a much darker plan in mind. Sarah had been naive. She hadn't seen the darkness behind Jay's charm, the cold heart that beat beneath his facade. When she ended things between them, she thought it would be over. But for Jay, it wasn't over. It was just beginning. The confrontation that night would end in horror. As the truth spilled out, as the lies were exposed, Jay's twisted obsession took control. In that moment, Sarah realized too late what she had unknowingly set in motion. She had no idea that her affair with Jay would end in death. Jay Lee, the student everyone thought they knew, wasn't just hiding a secret affair. He was hiding a murderous intent. And now, Sarah was the final piece of his twisted puzzle. What started as a private message, a simple exchange between two people, had unraveled into something far more sinister than anyone could have imagined. The truth about Jay Lee, and his horrifying actions, would change Bellwood University forever. Sometimes, the things we hide in the shadows are far more dangerous than we could ever understand. And sometimes, the people we trust the most, are the ones who betray us in the worst ways possible.